Okay, okay. I think I have logged into the wrong link. Wait.
Yes. Anyway, you
I'll
can just rename it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, Mandan development group.
Good morning, Kanchana. Leru will be there, right? Or who is from their team?
Sorry, this one.
Who is joining from the team which I asked in the morning?
From the customer?
LOLC.
Lairu, yes, should be here.
Right? Okay.
Shiny can't hear the audio.
In 1948, Hemas started with a simple intent: to make healthful living happen across the communities we serve. For over 7 decades, we have sought to offer world-class, affordable consumer products, medicines, healthcare, and mobility solutions. Across our consumer brands, Hemas is a leader in most categories in which we are present. Our hair oil brand is a market leader in Bangladesh. Hemas has always sought to be at the forefront of delivering best-in-class healthcare and medicines. We are the leading importer and distributor of medicines at private retail. Through our EU GMP-compliant pharmaceutical plant, we are the largest manufacturer of oral solid dosage forms of medicines in the country. Hemas Hospital is a growing hospitals and laboratory chain, providing affordable healthcare to the emerging middle-income customer. We have always believed in the potential of the next generation and have worked towards creating an inclusive world where no child is left behind. Our focus has always been to ensure that the needs of the communities across our nation are met. At Hemas, we believe that every Sri Lankan deserves a better tomorrow, to live a life filled with daily moments of joy, and most importantly, an opportunity to thrive and grow. In our onward journey, we will continue to invest in diverse and passionate teams, create meaningful offerings, champion a more inclusive world, and positively impact all our stakeholders. Hemas, making healthful living happen for over 7 decades. In 1948, Hemas started with a simple intent: to make healthful living happen across the community.
In every endeavor, there's a North Star that shines a light on its path to success. Each milestone is greater than the one which precedes it. The beacon that illuminates our journey and steers our vision of the future is family. We are a dynamic family of professionals, connecting multiple industries on a global scale. At Helanka Vacations, we are an internationally trusted travel partner, excelling in MICE tourism. Curating unforgettable memories is what we do. We believe that for truly inspired experiences to take place, they should be sought in equally stirring destinations. And that's where we at Helanka Vacations are geared to assist you.
You will speak Hindi. Huh?
Prudential Shipping is where we set sail on our mission of providing an extensive range of maritime services. We offer our expertise
No, all of
in
our name shows Sayani's name. I'm
freight
just trying to
forwarding,
rename.
offshore
Can you rename
logistics,
yourself?
ship-to-ship operations, and NVOCC
Divya, can you
agency
change the name to
services.
Epoch
We
instead
don't
of my
stop
name,
there.
please?
We are also moving some of the world's most
No,
valuable
you yourself
cargo
can
across
join and you
continents,
can just put
thanks
your
to our
option to
strategic and
rename it.
technically savvy team at
See
Premium
mine, I have
Trading
renamed.
and
It shows
Logistics.
no
We
records.
deliver rapid solutions via sea, air, and land. With trading, customs house brokerage, ship chandling, haulage, and warehousing facilities. We are a resolute and future-ready corporate family with a global
Click on the three
network
icons.
spearheading solutions that empower you to
Three
achieve
dots,
your
which is there
goals.
next to you
As
for
we celebrate
your
25 years of
icon.
being an essential cog in the machine that's driving many global ventures,
Yeah, more
we are
option.
geared to meet the diverse challenges of tomorrow head on. Together with you,
All fixed.
we are Mendis One.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, never be alone. Send on back. With every step you take, we'll be
Any
there
can we
by
start?
your side. Today,
Level
tomorrow,
5.
and for days to come. Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Welcome to the webinar on secure and sustainable workspace conducted by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce in collaboration with eGuardian Lanka. On the onset of, I would like to thank our corporate sponsors, eGuardian Lanka, Coca-Cola Sri Lanka, Vidya Lanka PLC, Stellan Bank, Mindiswan Limited, and Hemas Corporate Services Limited. Without further ado, I would like to inform everyone that keep your mics muted. Only the speaker and the panelist will be using their mics and videos during their presentations and discussions. And you may post your questions through the options of Q&A. And the session will be moderated by eGuardian Lanka. And I would like to introduce the floor to Mr. Kanchana Tilavaratna from eGuardian. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Let me warmly welcome all of you who have joined today for this session, which is conducted by eGuardian as well as collaboration with COPS. The purpose of today's webinar is basically to give you an understanding on how to build a secure and a sustainable workspace anywhere, anytime. Now, we have a few parties who are working collaboratively today. One is Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, yes, and then eGuardian and COPS. So me as the business lead for data center at eGuardian, let me take you through on a glimpse about eGuardian before we jump into the main topic. Am I visible? Am I like my screen is visible, right?
Yes, Kanchana, can go ahead.
Right. Okay. eGuardian is actually a technology enabler as well as a value-added distributor. We have founded ourselves in 2010 in Sri Lanka. I'm pretty sure most of our customers, the partners, invitees who have joined us here today have come across our company at some point of your stage in certain technology solution delivery as well. However, just to for the betterment of everyone, we operate in three main silos, namely cybersecurity, data center networking, and digital transformation. eGuardian is headquartered in Sri Lanka, and we have over 300 partners who are working for us, spread across the APAC region. And if you take our partner network, under the main silos, the cybersecurity, we are working with almost 20 products. And under cybersecurity, the main product being Fortinet, DOSarrest, AlgoSec, ESET, Safetica, Terramind, Pessler, Security Scorecard, CyberReason. These are the products that we work under cybersecurity silo. And when it comes to the data center and networking silo, we work with top-notch products in the world like Arista, Nutanix, Color Tokens, Alibaba, Commvault, as well as COPS, which we are going to touch base today. And in our third silo is digital transformation, where we deliver solutions using UiPath and LOI. If I take our global presence, we operate in APAC region mainly. If you take namely Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives, Bhutan, Singapore, and Malaysia. We even have our physical presence in Bangladesh, Singapore as well. So what is in it for you from eGuardian? Now, eGuardian being a distributor, we take things very seriously and we go one step ahead. We want to be that value adding distributor, and we want to make sure we just not stop as a mere distributor. So what we do is, you probably have seen us doing a lot of webinars, sessions, certifications, courses through our eGuardian platform as well. So basically, knowledge sharing is a key pillar. We believe that we can enable the technology across the country. So we do a lot of technical knowledge transfers and certifications. And as a value-added distributor, we do a lot of new product awareness building across our partner network as well as customer networks in different forms. And we do have POC setups so that we can showcase the value and the concepts to the customers on almost all the products that we have. And we do give technical guidance as well. In the other hand, eGuardian being a distributor, a value-added distributor, we make sure we have the lowest price points in the market comparatively, as well as we maintain the fair price among all the partners as well as customers. And we do have a 40+ staff strength, out of which 50% I would say technical staff, which enables us to basically deliver pre and post sale support even at level 1, level 2 support for our customer requirements. And then the best about eGuardian is we have a total data center stack under one roof. To elaborate on a little bit on that, under data center stack, we have namely everything you need to set up your data center. We do deal with Nutanix, which is the hyperconverged infrastructure, the pioneer in the market, pioneer in the world for a hyperconverged infrastructure. And our switching partner is Arista, again, a Gartner leader product, which has been dominant product over many years, which is proven robust product. And we do color tokens, which is data center inside the traffic. So again, a Gartner leader product, which is known and proven itself. And the world-renowned Commvault data backup solution. And also we have the monitoring tool, PRTG, or as known as Pessler, where you can monitor all the aspects of these components that I mentioned. Last but not least, we have a COPS, which is a secure VDI solution to complete the data stack under data center category in the eGuardian solution data center stack. Now today we are going to touch base on a COPS. Basically the topic is how we can secure and build a sustainable workspace anywhere and anytime. So without further delaying, without further taking time, let me introduce our speaker today, Mohan Bhatt, CSO as well as co-founder from COPS. Mohan, if you are ready, I can hand over to you.
Yeah, I'm ready. I can take it over.
Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, and thanks to all the participants who are there. And it's an honor to actually present the ACOP solutions to all the dignitaries and people present here. I am partnered with Vinod Kumar, my technical assistant, Sayani, and many other people from ACOPS. So I'm going to share my screen, and all through the discussion, please ensure that at any moment of time you have any concerns with respect to any discussions, put in a request on the chat, which Vinod can answer it. We will take the questions later. The next thing is we also have one of our customers from Sri Lanka joining our session, who will also tell us about his experience of working with ACOPS. We have a demo session also, a live demo session of facial authentication, biometric authentication, passwordless authentication, which is very important at the time of cybersecurity mitigations, which I'll be taking you through. Yeah, so starting off the presentation, I hope my screen is shared. Is my screen shared?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Yes.
It's in slideshow already.
Yeah. Okay. So after the COVID, the life has changed. COVID was instrumental in ensuring that people can work from anywhere, because that was the only option. But ACOPS believed in working from anywhere almost like 10-15 years before. We always believed that digitalization will ensure that people can work from anywhere. Working from office on a captive environment is a cost with respect to captive cost, a lot of travel restrictions with respect to locations. So secure work from anywhere is the future. And with the COVID happening, it was tried and tested how secure working can work from anywhere. The security was tested, and ACOPS was able to roll out to more than 1,000 customers worldwide. Now, the biggest concern for work from anywhere is the secure part of it. So ACOPS will take you through the journey about how we were able to make things secure. And at the same time, it is not a technology which has been rolled out in the COVID situation. We were lucky to roll it out almost like 10 years before. And in the 10 years, we were able to understand the nuances of efficiency, security, and we were able to fine tune the technology to be ready for the world. Any software, any pharmaceutical company which makes medicines or software is not free from side effects or bugs, but it takes approximately 10 years with 10 lakh users using it to make a pharmaceutical solution safe. The same manner, ACOPS is again a solution which has been tried and tested for 10 years, making the whole technology tried, tested, and safe. Many governments worldwide, many defense organizations worldwide, many enterprises worldwide, large enterprises have been using our solution successfully. So ACOPS stands for an acronym called Access Operations. Whenever you access anything in your LAN, whenever you access anything in your WAN, whenever you access anything over the internet, you are prone to cyber attacks, and the cyber attacks can be mitigated by using ACOPS. Two main concerns, what happens with the organizations is the slowness eats away time, and the security compromise eats away the trust, and it is a disaster in making. So this has been identified. Whatever you access over your computer, your Windows environment, or a Linux environment, or any environment is getting exposed to the browser, cookies, technologies like Facebook and other technologies, thereby exposing your data to the dark world. At the same time, whenever you work through a remote location, whenever you work from your office, whatever you work can be beneficial for an organization, or it can be a costly thing for your organization. For example, when you're working and you finish your work within the speculated amount of time, you can do more work. But if you are going to take more time to do your work, then it is a cost which actually gets leaking the time inside your organization. So how do you work decides the cost and earnings, and automation and AI ML is a force multiplier which will help your organization reduce time and make things faster. So what ACOPS did was we shook up the technology, we made better products, better services with better understanding from the customers, and making the technology very cost effective, making the technology innovative with what has been needed. Coming back to the real-time environments, earlier business as usual was working from office. You had a firewall internet which was protecting you. You had sound technologies which were helping you have multiple devices. You have a laptop, you have a phone for sound, and you had storage, and you had uninterrupted internet, and you had a luxury of working. And still, whatever you're working inside your office also got exposed to multi-factor authentic, multi-operational OSs, and there was a concern. Now, coming to work from home, you don't have the luxury of a great bandwidth. You don't have the luxury of having multiple devices. You don't have the luxury of having a firewall in home to protect your access from the internet. So this is a change of scenario. Both these scenarios started getting compromised. The work from home got compromised very much because of the zero firewall environment and using of default technologies. At the same time, business as usual working from office also started getting compromised because of cookies and spywares and other technologies. So working from home or working from anywhere became a new normal. People are not going to stop working from anywhere anymore. So demands from working from home, working from anywhere is people want it provisioned now. IT has been demanded to provide access now. There is no timeline of 6 months or 3 months to roll out something. The global pandemic created a new normal, and it is the test of time which people started using it. VPN became the new LAN, and people were expecting that VPN is the default technology for using it from anywhere. Virtualization became the immediate answer so that they can actually work from mobiles, and they can work from laptops, tabs, and everything. Business was under pressure because of the unexpected changes with respect to geodynamics and because of the world going into recession and whatnot. So concerns with the VPN technology, which was used for a long time, is because VPN was supposed to be used from clean machines and clean environments. If you use a VPN from an unclean environment, it can even create a bridge between the viruses from an unclean environment to the data center. And if you're going to use it from an unclean PC, the PC can actually pass on all the worms, trojans to the data center. Ransomware attacks can happen. So VPN is a half-truth. VPN is actually a dangerous tool to work from home or work from anywhere, because it bridges not only the required data, it also bridges the data which is harmful to the data center. So basically, if you look at it, when a person is working from office, the PC which has been there is being protected by the firewall. So a PC has 65,535 ports, and only some of the ports are being exposed through the firewall. So any of the attacks which is happening on the PC is being stopped by the firewall. But the PC which has been having 65,535 ports, out of which many of the ports would have been closed, but it can have approximately 20 to 30 ports which have been open, so that you can actually interact with file servers, Active Directory, domain controllers, and everything. Now the same PC is going home, or it is going somewhere else. It's working from anywhere. So you connect the PC to internet, and from internet you connect to the data center internet, and from there you're connecting inside. Now this PC, which has been there, where the 20 ports have been open, now is been open to the internet world without a firewall. So it is easy for hackers to hack into the machine. And after that, when you connect to a VPN, the hacked environment can go through your firewall, because the firewall cannot do content filtering on your encrypted data. Now, this is a flaw which has been there in the VPN technology, because of which providing VPN access to end users could create a ransomware attack into an organization. VPN protects any kind of data. It protects the corporate data. It even protects the viruses and worms to get into your organization. So sanitization was a need of the hour, and that was a concern. So malwares, keyloggers, and all other technologies which could actually harm the data center was actually creating a havoc into the environment. The next thing is how to address the work from home environments. HR attendance was not practically possible from work from home. How do you ensure the bandwidth is always constant? And multiple new devices were coming in. So all these, and logistics were a problem. Sending a laptop to home was a concern. So apart from laptops, people started using tabs. People started using multiple operating systems like Android, iOS, Windows. That was concerned. So accessing those corporate application over these devices. For example, you use an Outlook over these devices, so the data compromise is evident. So unmanaged devices again become a concern. So when a laptop crashes at home, people started using different devices, and those devices could have a Trojan or a malware. And that was a concern. Supporting all type of applications over any network with respect to speed was a concern. So application vendors had to recode their applications to run on Android, iOS, and other concerns were there. So vendor applications accessing corporate environment was a business necessity which had to be fulfilled. So every organization was just a click away from infections. Every organization was just a click away from attacks. That was being a concern. And it also was identified that 28% of the attacks was happening from a person clicking on something unknowingly, 17% were because of casual, and 4% clicked on anything, and that's why it was prone for attacks. And large organizations which survived 20 years, creating trust and reputation in the market, with one cyber attack, the reputation was gone. So this was a concern of any organization under attack loses market share, loses mind share of the public. And all these issues which has been there with respect to cyber attacks is not secretive. It is there in the market. There are a lot of VPN flaws, a lot of RDP protocols which has been used, a lot of USB tokens, a lot of remote access technology which is there is also faulty, but people have been not completely proactive with this, and that's why the compromises have been happening. So when you actually have work from home or work from office environments and people are accessing the data center, there are a lot of components which has been needed. For example, the data has to be encrypted and the data size should not increase. So you need a VPN technology, you need a load balancer, you need virtualization technology, you need remote desktop technologies, you need an antivirus, you need an anti-malware, you need a DLP technology so that the data which has been there on a mission is not exposed to the outside world or copied outside. You need a multi-factor authentication technology so that you're not being impersonated by someone else looking at how you're working. And you need a NAC solution. You need a classification solution which can classify you as an employee, classify you as a senior person, classify you as a trusted person. That is, profiling is needed. For example, if you're sitting at home and working, you should be given an access. If you're working from a native place, your access may be curtailed. If you work from an unknown place, your access should be completely stopped. So those type of profiling automated should be there. Data center camouflaging, your data center has a lot of information like an IP address, broadcast address, DNS address, all that has to be camouflaged. Machine isolation, whatever you're working should not be video recorded by someone else. It should not be screen scraped and exposed in the market. So isolation is needed. Bandwidth reduction is needed so that you can actually work comfortably. In this manner, you need geofencing to ensure that work from a particular approved location is there as per the government requirements. Then other government requirements come into place. Now, for achieving all this, you will end up buying huge amount of technologies. You will end up buying huge amount of softwares, and still you will have a problem about who is logging in, who is creating the ransomware attack, visibility of monitoring, zero visibility of who, what, why is a problem because all these technologies work in silos and you need to have to integrate all these technologies, which is a concern. ACOPS is one single technology with one single license at marginal cost of all this thing put together can provide you security, efficiency, a complete host of work from home technologies. ACOPS, which stands for Access Operations, is a 100% Make in India company. We work in 11 countries. We are a self-funded organization where we had experience of working with multinational best companies in the world. We have been promoted by Indian government. We have been tried and tested by Japan's government, Middle East governments, and many other governments worldwide. Gartner has selected us as a customer choice technology over multiple other technologies, and we are very strong with whatever we have done, and everything has been built in-house. We are not outsourced anything, so we have control over what we have been delivering to the customers. Any software has to go through multiple levels of fine-tuning, multiple levels of enhancements to the customer's requirements. So we are lucky to be having more than 1,000 customers, a 300-member team with more than 200 partners, a lot of technical people doing assistance to the customer. We work on a global footprint. Now, what we do, we innovate, we consolidate, and we optimize. We innovate to ensure that the problems which has been faced by customers, the problem which has been faced by the technology is being addressed, and we are able to reduce the cost by consolidating all the technologies together, and we are able to optimize it, give a better speed. A customer who has been able to do 150 transactions a day, we have been able to enhance it to 1,000 transactions a day. A big bank in India which has been doing it, we are your partners for work from anywhere. We are secure. We are a foolproof organization, agile with respect to engagements and a cost-effective technology because of the innovation. So what we have a zero trust environment, we have virtualization environment, we have strong identity environment, and we even have the end user devices so that actually you can have a complete holistic technology. How do we differentiate from the market? Because we are a single technology which is there. Strongest authentication which we provide to customers so that they're not being compromised, and a granular control which has been there. So if you're looking at driving factors for enterprises, enterprises want a very simple technology to be given for desktop access. The technology can be sophisticatedly strong, but on the end user side, it should be very simple. It should increase the efficiency, better end user experience so that employees are motivated to work more, to reduce the cost of ownership of the company, eradicate many of the costs by automation, and hyper-converge everything. For example, a person is logging in at 9 o'clock, it should cross-check with a HRMS application to understand whether he should be given access. And if the HRMS says yes, approved by his manager, then he can give an access. So integrated hyper-converge operations is a need of the hour. Reduce the moving parts, then enhance the security compliances, government compliances, and international compliances. And ECOPS actually benefits the business. With this technology, vendors can log in. With this technology, stakeholders can log in, employees can log in. It improves the operations, it improves the time needed for access. For example, normally people work for 8 hours to 10 hours. This can ensure that any moment of time you can be an enabler to business. So it addresses all the limitation and addresses the risk of cybersecurity. So the key aspect is that any device which needs to access your digital assets goes through a secure channel of ECOPS, goes through a multi-factor authentication so that identity first becomes a very important aspect for cybersecurity mitigations. At the same time, we don't take it default access as success. Every time a person logs in, the person is being checked of who, where, why, what, when, and aspects about what are the changes from his previous connection, what are the changes to his new connection is being checked, then only access has been given. To all the security risk, what I was talking about, ECOPS has built this technology where the end user device, which is sitting in office or sitting at home or sitting anywhere, connects to the data center through the bandwidth which has been provided from the end user, going through the firewall is the crux of the entire thing. These are the critical aspects of LAN, WAN, VPN, VDI. So your end user should get a great end user experience. The bandwidth use should be reduced so that you can do more work with less bandwidth. At the same time, on the server side, it should be optimized to take very less space, optimized to respond faster, optimized to ensure security on the server side, not to get compromised. So to do all this, to ensure that compromise has been reduced, we are able to use digital certificates, we are able to use multi-factor authentications, biometrics, push notifications, and all this technology which has been needed. The kiosk mode ensures that the computer which has been used will ensure that no interference to the application from any of the other installed application. For example, if a person is working and there is a video recording software working on a mission, it can record everything what a person is doing. So there will be an isolation created, and video recording software cannot record anything what a person is doing. It will be completely black. If a person is working on Teams, if a person is working on any of the technologies which can expose the user's activity, the information secrecy will ensure your corporate access is not exposed to the remote access technologies, thereby reducing the security of data. So forensic information capture, so that if tomorrow if there's a compromise, you should be able to give the data to the police about the access so that you can actually verify the end user. No trust on the machine. You cannot trust any of these devices anymore, any of these softwares anymore, because there could be a backdoor entry to all these environments, and there could be a data leakage which has been there. So all these are needed to ensure secure environments and efficiency to the end users. This information keeps on increasing. To have a better end user experience, you need to reduce the packet size, you need to better the response which has been there, and all these technologies ensure that the access to the data center is seamless. And even if there is a disconnection, there are persistent connections through which the connections have been established. On the server side, you need to make the entire thing seamless, scalable. It should be onboarded very easily when all those technologies are needed to make the entire environment conclusive or motivating or inspiring an end user to work more. So all in all, when you put out all these technologies put together, you actually need an end-to-end technology, not a silo technology, a single support which can actually address all these requirements, a hyper-converged environment, which will ensure that each silo technology understands what's going on. At the same time, an innovative approach so that customization is possible, fastest turnaround time, the local support, development for any of the new engagements, reducing your cost of operations to less than 50%, no end of life of the software, consulting approach to ensure that we understand exact problems of yours and deliver it. So these are some of the success stories, license being flexible, whitelisting of the environment, rollout of L1, L2. So this is where organizations require a complete whole 360-degree holistic viewpoint for a technology to be rolled out. 100% Indian company, R&D based, in-house built with more than 15 years of experience with us. So Gartner has recommended us as a customer choice. We are in the magic quadrant of customer choice. And if you look at, we have customers on all verticals. If you look at BFSI, the Indian government or the finance ministry is using it. Axis Bank is using it for more than 1 lakh of users. Then if you look at financial sector, we have organizations like, what do you say, non-banking financials, small banks, small companies to large companies, everyone using it. Education, we have more than 7 universities in Japan using it. Healthcare, we have very famous names like Bharat Biotech, Wokhad Hospital using our technology. Government, the entire Indian government has been using it. More than 1,000 departments, more than 2 to 3 lakh users have been using it. So manufacturing, we have companies like L&T, we have companies like pharmaceutical companies using it. ITITS, we have great companies across the world, financial companies, non-financial companies, companies like Walmart, companies like Yodlee using it. So if you look at some of the largest customers, Axis Bank is more than 1 lakh of users, NIC is more than 2.5. Reliance is using it. They replace Citrix to use ECOPS for more than 1 lakh of users. Japan is using it for internet isolation, a very unique technology where we reduce the entire harmfulness of internet. Internet becomes completely harmless to the environment. Walmart, Flipkart is using it. It goes on. Zensar is using it for Middle East. Department of Defense is using it. This goes on. Why ECOPS becomes very critical in the new world is because remote access is going to increase by 66%. Many of the employees who are working for an organization, nowadays they feel that they can work for 4 or 5 organizations at the same time. So they're going to resign and they are going to become gig workers or they're going to become contract employees. So people are going to create this new environment where companies are not going to employ people. They will open their work for gig workers, someone who can log in the morning, finish off the work and close the activity. He doesn't need to be an employee. Gig workers are increasing. Companies like Upwork, companies like freelancers have now more than 59 million users worldwide. People who have been displaced from their place, people who have been not able to travel, they expect to become gig workers, and this business model is increasing a lot. It has been profitable for organizations to ensure that instead of having an employee, you can just get your work done by a temporary employee to perfection, and you have a choice to get the best of best employee to your choice. So 19% of the employees are going to resign and they are going to work permanently from home. If an organization is going to ask them to come back to office, they'll resign and they look for any other organizations which can actually allow them to work from home, because that taste of working from home is there. Now 80% of the organizations are expecting people to work hybrid, come 2 days in office and work 3 days at home. That is going to reduce your power consumption in office, reduce your space required in office, and make things more easier. And it is going to reduce their requirement of new spaces. At the same time, one more critical aspect is knowledge workers. Someone would like to work at 4 o'clock in the morning, but the office opens at 9 o'clock. Now, with remote working, he can actually work at 4 o'clock. Someone wants to work at 12 o'clock in the night, daytime he wants to use it for something else. That is all possible. Knowledge workers are again someone who is going to work at home. And challenges which is there for CFO and CIOs are security, it is going to be accountability, it is going to be monitoring. All these are concerns which has been there with respect to devices and everything. So ACOPS has been able to design a technology for these aspects. At the same time, they're also going to ensure that all the technology is needed. DLP is needed, device control is needed, ZTNA is needed, multi-factor is needed, a data leakage, data encryption of anything which has been leaked is needed. So kiosking is needed. So all that thing put together is one single technology which has been there. So ACOPS is able to ensure that if you're accessing a data through a secure browser, we are able to create a ring around the secure browser so that the data from the secure browser is not going to come inside your local machine. So we are able to ensure that any application can be work from any laptop, from any operating system on a browser, which will be made secure using ACOPS. Or if an employee is having a device, we can arrest the entire device and freeze the security of the device, ensure the antivirus has been updated, Windows have been updated, ensure the entire device is secured to be used. At the same time, virtual desktop is a awesome technology which can actually ensure the least amount of effort needed on the client side. Everything is centralized, everything stays centrally. There is no security concerns when you use a virtual desktop. So all these three technologies based on the requirements. For example, some companies can require only user browser security for BYOD environment. Someone who's working in office, they want to reduce dependency on the desktops or refurbishment on a desktop, they go for virtual desktop. Someone who is using a sales team or a contract team or anything at all would like to have the entire device being protected. So all those things can be done. Any end user, ACOPS provides all the necessary requirements for an end user to log in to any type of applications which has been there. So, these are technical aspects. So Flipkart has a lot of people who are working from home, and they have outsourced contract employees with a big billion day coming in, and many of the people are based on contracts. So you cannot have device delivered to them. They have to be BYOD. So on a BYOD mission, you cannot implement security. So you should have a mechanism where security is implemented when the access happens, and when they log out, the security is taken out. So companies like Verizon, which had to install many clients on the local machine to ensure security, ACOPS became one client to be installed to create the entire security for the organization. So in this manner, Tech Mahindra, which has been using a call center environment, was able to create a call center to move home. That means Ghar se call. That means that work from home for a call environment to reduce the captive space cost, reduce the operational cost, so that increase the profitability. The government of India was able to, yeah. Any questions? Okay. So in this manner, lot of organizations, banking organizations, financial organizations have been using a solution. And this is a complete scalable environment where a 5 user to 5 lakh users can scale. It is already automated technology, which has been integrated with Nutanix and many other technologies in the market. The next thing, what we also do is we have been able to reduce the TCO. We have been able to reduce the cost of operations. We're also able to reduce the number of moving parts, making it sustainable, making it cost effective, and making it a long-term technology to be used by an organization. Enterprise use cases for VDI, for remote access goes on. Canara Bank is using it for Swift application. Axis Bank is using it for treasury and other applications. Students have been using it to reduce the Microsoft requirement from 30,000 licenses to 1,000 licenses, because we are able to swap the users very fast. Nuclear organizations, which is very critical, have been using a technology called internet isolation to reduce the harmful effects of internet using this technology. So the VDI features which has been there has been created to ensure limitations of VDI is being eradicated. At the same time, to ensure maximum usage has been done, digital tokens, which doesn't work through a VDI, has been made to work through a VDI because of the special features built in. Biometric technologies for authentication for applications have been introduced by ECOPS so that applications which work with the biometric authentication doesn't become a showstopper to be used through VDI. The virtual IP address requirements for many of the critical applications, voice clarity and voice perfection over the VDI was achieved here. In the interest of time, what I will do is I'll just show you a login, a live login. Now I want to log into my office. So to log into my office, I come to an URL. To log in, I can put my username, password, then I can get an OTP and I can log in using OTP. That's a traditional manner. I can create a passwordless authentication. The passwordless authentication creates a QR code, and ECOPS has an app which has been there, which can scan the QR code, and once I scan it, the login will happen. It is zero-touch login, so all the applications which is needed for an access at this moment of time is given to me on a browser. All those applications, Microsoft, non-Microsoft, has been posted here through ECOPS, desktops, web-based application, all these applications. Very simple. Now, the benefit is that I have not used username and password, so the Chrome is not going to copy anything at all. The machine doesn't know what is the username and password. I can use this technology to work from an airport. I can use this technology to work from any device, because none of the devices is able to capture my username and password. Second thing is, you can see within half a second, I was able to log in. I was able to get access to all the corporate applications just on a browser-based environment. So this is a faster access, and I don't waste time. For example, if I take a login, it takes 15 seconds. If I do it through ECOPS, it takes half a second. And in a day's time, I may log in 10 times to 20 times, and I may spend almost like 1 hour logging in. So 220 hours of saving has been done. That means that 12 months of salary you pay to an employee. Using technology, you're able to get 13 months of work done. So this is the speed in which ECOPS can adopt. It can roll out technologies for employees to work faster. Now, something which is more interesting, if I write username password, now when I write username password, I even have facial authentication. What it will do is it will, okay, so my camera is on. So what I will do is I will switch off my camera, then so what I'm going to show you is a technology where it will do a facial authentication to log in, and every 15 seconds, it will cross-check whether I am the same person who is trying to log in and work. Now, this is a continuous monitoring because working from home, people tend to actually play spoil sport by passing out the access to someone else. So there could be an incident that an employee is passing the information or asking his son to work. Now, if you see here, there is continuous monitoring. Now, I logged in using facial authentication, but ECOPS is going to continuously monitor. That means that every some time it is going to cross-check whether I'm the same person. And if I'm not the same person, it is going to log me out. And it is also going to ensure that only I'm working on the corporate applications. If it finds out that there is some other face which is coming in front of the screen, it will document that and it will say that you have exposed your corporate data to outside world. Now, if you see here, the camera is getting initialized again. It will take a photograph of me and it will cross-check again and again. Now, it says that, okay, you have been authenticated once, you have been authenticated, so we will cross-check you again and again. This could be done unknowingly, knowingly, and it can ensure that the work from home is not a mechanism to compromise. Sometimes if your organization is giving a training program, the person can just log in and move off. This will ensure that the training program, the person is attending it. Or if a very critical financial transaction is done or very critical transaction has been done, this technology can ensure that this financial transaction, the proof of that is that the video recording will ensure that it is the same person who has done the financial transaction. So in this manner, we can have facial authentication also. Now, the next thing, what I can even tell you is GPS-based login. Now, when I try to log in, it would like to understand that whether I'm coming from a particular permitted location. Someone in Sri Lanka has to work from Sri Lanka. So what it will do is, now there's a number which is there, and okay, I'll start my camera. On my mobile, it tells that push notification is there, and push it, and it gives me 3 numbers. 59 is one of the numbers. So when I say 59, yes, it shares the geolocation of me to the system, and it cross-verifies with the profile whether the geolocation I'm permitted to work. Based on that, the access is there. Now, the sophistication of ECOPS is that it is able to work in a browser-based environment. So rollout becomes very simple. It can work from Mac, it can work from Linux, Windows, mobile platform, any platform. It is very simple. The login, and there are multiple types of logging in which has been there to ensure different type of users. If you have contract employees, you can do device login. If you have financial people or critical people, you can do facial. If you want to be for faster access, you can use biometrics, and it has zero trust and other technologies. Any questions? How long do I have? I've covered 40 minutes of my time.
Mohan, we have about 6 minutes of time from the scheduled time.
Okay.
Yes. And just to add on, we'll be doing a small survey, a questionnaire after the session based on the content that we presented today, as well as some of the general aspects. And we do have some exciting gifts for you all. So we'll be sharing it right after the presentation. We'll be sharing it on the chat, so you can log in and complete the survey and win exciting gifts as well.
Yeah.
So over to you, Mohan. And also, if you have any questions, please do raise. It's time for question and answers.
Yeah. So if you look at it, to make the remote access technology more feature-rich, I showed you the facial authentication. There is a technology called ECOPS Nano. Now, what happens is that when a person is having a PC, and the PC could have worms, trojans. So we have the entire operating system inside a pen drive, and the person can insert the pen drive into the machine and reboot the machine, and the OS will come in. So I can show you a small video about so what a person can do. Now this PC could be completely infected, it could be a pirated PC, and you have a concern working with this. So ACOPS can actually give you an operating system which you can load it on a pen drive, and you can reboot the machine. And when you reboot the machine, the ACOPS operating system will run from the RAM. It doesn't need to be installed on the laptop. And once the ACOPS operating system runs on the RAM, it will connect to the ACOPS server. The administrator will take required permissions based on the hard disk, motherboard, processor, geolocation informations. And what will happen is the end user will be asked for username, password from a clean operating system built on the RAM by ACOPS on Linux platform, and the person will put the username, password, and he will get access to the VDI environments or the application access environments and work comfortably. So any machine, infected, non-infected, old, new, any operating system can log into ACOPS and work. The dependency of a clean machine is not there. This technology has been used by defense organizations, many organizations where they want to use BYOD as a platform to work for contract employees, for retail employees and other employees. Now, for example, if I talk about facial authentication.
Mohan, there's a raise of hands from Roshanta.
Yeah.
Probably that's a question. Roshanta, if you have a question, you may raise. Roshanta, you can speak up.
You have to unmute yourself. Yeah. Till the time Prashant comes in, I'll just show you when a person is logging into a facial, there's a continuous monitoring which has been there. There are logs which are being identified. Now, for example, if you see here, for an administrator, he'll get a message telling that the user who worked, there was one failure, face did not match with the username password. Yellow means there was no face at all in front of the camera. That means it was not working. White is multiple faces, and green is success. So work from home is not exposed to dangers. Those dangers have been captured. So for an administrator, he will come to know whether his employees are effectively working or not effectively working, or is work from home a threat to an organization. For example, multiple faces. This is threat to the data. Right. So an organization which is working from home, which has been using a laptop to access. Now, for example, someone is logging in from his corporate laptop. He puts a username, password. The laptop starts working. He uses it for internet. He uses it for VPN. In ACOPS, what happens is that when he logs into the laptop, even before the laptop starts, there's a cross-check with the administrator, cross-check with the corporate environment, whether the laptop should be allowed to work. For example, you don't want a laptop to work on Saturday, Sundays. You can force the laptop not to work on Saturday, Sundays. So in this manner, there's a cross-check. Then after that, ACOPS will ask the end user for a multi-factor authentication. Could be email, SMS, mobile token, and any other tokens. At the same time, it can cross-check with the user even before the laptop starts. Once the credentials have been given, the laptop can start. The group policy is applied on the laptop. The restrictions of internet or the usage is being applied on the laptop or the VDI environment. This will ensure that whatever a person is doing from remote is under the purview of System Center server or the monitoring server. This will ensure no misuse of the data center or no misuse of the laptop which has been given to the end user for any other personal activities. Any questions?
Mohan,
There
that
is one hand raised. Yeah, I think HP, Mr. HP and Madhuranga has one more question.
yes, I think they are unable to unmute. CCC events, can we help them to unmute themselves?
So Vinod, if you are able to read the chat questions, if you can answer it, if there is any question to me, you can put it across.
Yes, Mohan. There is no questions on the chat, Madon. I think the panelists, the participants are not able
No,
to.
there are questions. Vinod, I think.
We made it audio questions.
Yes. Admin, can
Is
we?
my voice audible or is it not audible?
Your voice is very much audible, Paresh.
Okay. Fine.
I think-
So,
Can we give permissions to the users to unmute themselves?
I think they are not able to unmute. That's what even I'm trying to check on my end.
okay. Now, one more very important aspect of remote access is that many of the system administrators are allowed to work from home. Many of the employees who manage the critical assets are working from home. You are not sure whether it is the same person or whether it is the imposter or whether it is the hacker who is working. So ACOPS is able to create a secure grail across any technology. For example, logging into Palo Alto firewall is based on username password. If you enable ACOPS on your Palo Alto environment, when a person logs in, Palo Alto and ACOPS will ask for multi-factor like biometrics, email, facial, and other. In this manner, it protects the critical assets like Palo Alto from exposure to work from anywhere to ambiguity of attacks. Now, whether it's a real genuine person or a not genuine person, you can cross-check with these technologies here. Fine. So, whenever you are accessing your, for example, you're accessing your O365 email could be a very important asset which has been misused. So, if someone is logging into email of Microsoft or Google or any other email, ACOPS can integrate with those technologies which easily accessible over the internet by providing one more layer of security where we will ask for OTP like SMS token, email token, and device check also. Now, what happens is that a person can get an username password, he can get an OTP, but the device which he is logging in should be approved by the administrator. So administrator can come to the server, he can see that the user had been permitted by working on a particular device, but he is using a new device. By default, it has not been permitted. Administrator can check whether it is a genuine user or not. And if it is a genuine user, then he can permit it. And if it is not, if there is a restriction that he should not work with many devices, he can delete those devices also. Any digital asset which has been exposed over the internet or any digital SaaS-based access which has been available freely over the internet also can be controlled to see that misuse of SaaS-based application or any other application is not going to be done. ACOPS can control all that. Many of the applications which is internally hosted, where the people from the LAN were sitting and working, now the people from internet is working. So you're concerned that earlier people are sitting inside office, you had a security and everything, you knew the person. Now a person is working from anywhere. So you need to step up the security of your applications. So any application which requires a username password could be stepped up by asking biometrics from ACOPS so that the assurance of the user is tested beyond any doubt, and the biometrics will ensure, the facial authentication will ensure that this person is the same person. Then you can be given an access. So secure access is compulsory, multi-factor access is compulsory, then VDI access to critical data assets are compulsory when you're working from office or working from anywhere.
Mohan, I think now the settings is cleared, so the users can ask the questions.
Yeah.
Madhuranga, Roshanta, and HP, you had questions. If you can unmute and ask, that would be great.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very much.
Okay, right. I'm Roshanta. I'm from Noratel International. So Mohan, I have a couple of questions actually.
Yeah.
Say, you are putting the additional layer on top of this communication when it comes to this particular product. When you work in from home, you publish all your application on your platform, right? Whatever the application that we have in our organization, is it?
True.
Right. So so there might be definitely the issue with the latency, right? When it comes to accessing. See, assume we have the corporate ERP placed in the hyperscaler or maybe Azure or AWS, right?
Okay.
So let us talk about SAP, right? So you have the connection on your desktop where same like Citrix, your application works like that.
Okay, so I'll tell you like this. See, Citrix uses bandwidth phenomenally for an access, and Citrix doesn't have multi-factor authentication, so they are not designed to be used over the internet, though it will work over the internet. Now, TechOps is a feature-rich technology compared to Citrix to be used over the internet, used over low bandwidth connections, and we got an award from Microsoft for deploying ACOPS on the least amount of bandwidth, that is 64 kbps. That's one.
Okay.
Second thing is your question is on latency, right? So if I create an overhead over the environment, then what about the latency which has been there? Now, ACOPS has a technology called SPAN technology, seamless private access technology, which has been there. And what it does is, I'm going to share my screen again. I'll take a minute. So we understand that the world over, the bandwidth is the constraint. Now, if you see here, my screen here, when you create a remote access technology to your data center, your data which goes through the TCP layer has an acknowledgement, and there's a re-acknowledgement for the encrypted layer also. That's why what happens is that your data, this is your computer, and your data which goes through your computer ends up going directly or going through a VPN technology. And this data becomes very large, and it ends up having two TCP protocols. And because of the two TCP headers, there is acknowledgement from both. That means one data creates a transaction of 4 data, and if one of the data drops, then the data is regenerated. This is called a TCP over TCP meltdown problem. Now, this problem happens with most of the technologies in the world. So what ACOPS has done is that it has captured the data in the application layer, encrypts it, and sends it. Now, because of this, the path of the data is not going through the kernel layer, it is going through the application layer, and that is faster, and there is one TCP packet. We have been able, can you see that the packet size is reduced? It is only one TCP packet, and the path of the data is reduced. So we have been able to speed up an access. We are able to make the connection much faster than TCP protocol. Now, this has been our benefit actually. Fine. This has been validated by Microsoft. They tried and tested it over a technology called Thousand Eyes. There's a company called Black Belt from Microsoft, which tested our technology and proved that we are faster than TCP protocol. So if you're accessing anything, because of the overheads, it is not going to slow down. Because of the overheads, it is going to speed up the access. It's a bandwidth accelerator.
Okay, thank you. My second question. Sorry, I'll take only 1 minute. Okay, so assume you see most of the clients. So basically, they might have some cloud-based application that they have published, right? Where they access through their desktop. In that case, still you need to publish that application on your SaaS platform that you're talking about, ACOPS?
No.
Or what? No.
So see, basically what will happen is when you have an application which is hosted on the cloud, for example, O365 is hosted on Microsoft Cloud, and Salesforce is hosted on their own cloud or anything at all, ACOPS will provide a wrapper to that particular application. Fine. So you don't have to host it in our data center or anything at all. We will give you a mechanism of logging in where we will allow you to log in, wrap your data so that it becomes faster and becomes secure.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to host it. See, VDI is a technology in which you host everything, and on your hosting environment, it has to work. We have something called a VDI killer also, which will ensure that you don't have to host it in ACOPS. We will just add that component which will speed up and secure your data. That's called high secure technology.
That is where my latency issue is coming, right? So basically, when you talk about the Azure application or cloud application, you have the site-to-site VPN connectivity from your organization to whatever the hyperscaler, right? When you have your the application published in your whatever the technology, so it has the additional layer. This has to come to my office, then again go to the hyperscaler. That is my question was initiated. That is where my question was initiated about the latency. Maybe I don't know. So it will adding some additional layer to you, right? Where you access your application. That's what my question was actually. I don't know.
Yeah. So what I want to show you is, if you see here, Microsoft Dynamics, which is on cloud, if a person is accessing the Microsoft Dynamics directly, he will be using 400 kbps.
Yeah.
Now he's using it through ACOPS. He's using it on 64 kbps. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see.
And Microsoft Dynamics can work only on IE platforms. Here I'm able to make it work on the Chrome platform. Microsoft Dynamics, which will work on only Windows platform, it can work on Linux platform here. Now, this is what we did for Microsoft, where Microsoft tested our solution. And if you see here, Dynamics is working directly from a browser. Now here, you're coming to ACOPS, and from ACOPS, you're actually working on Dynamics icon is there, then you're working on it. So what happened was, if you see this page here, the first two pages talks about Dynamics working directly without ACOPS, and the second two is working through ACOPS. Now, it was tested in Singapore, Taiwan, Tokyo, Hong Kong, everywhere, in the train, in the cafe, and everywhere. You can see here there is timeouts which has been there, and there are yellow marks which has been there. Now, if you see here, acceptable faster than standard. That means if you're accessing an application directly, it was slower, but if you're accessing it through ACOPS, it is much faster. Though there is an intercepted mechanism which has been there. So what we are doing is, the TCP protocol has 3 handshakes which has been there. Without that, we are speeding it up so that you are able to use that latency of TCP protocol to reduce the speed and make it faster. So you can do a POC of ACOPS and you can see things becoming faster, and that will be a proof of concept to you.
Thank you, Bharat. So I have so many questions, but we'll take it offline. I'll give you the chance to other people. There's.
Yeah, and you can connect to my team. Vinod is there and the people are there. We'll be very happy to answer your questions.
Yeah.
This technology has been built only for addressing all the problems which has been there in the market.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Roshanta. I think HP has a question. You can unmute and ask the question.
Any questions from anyone? Now, if you see here, this is a document which.
Mohan, there's another question on the. There's another question from Madhuranga. Let me read it out for you in case Madhuranga is unable to unmute himself. Since you told ZTNA, what will be major difference comparing other ZTNA vendors? How ACOPS is different?
Yeah. So if you talk about ZTNA, ZTNA ensure that you don't trust the operating system, you don't trust the local machine. So in that manner, you work on it. Now I'm going to take a minute of time to show a live ZTNA environment. I'm just checking my server. No, I'm not having the access. Okay. Okay, so what I want to tell you is that with respect to the ZTNA technology, the zero trust on the local environment is to be applied. There are more than 10-15 parameters which is there, like what you access on the data center is based on an FQDN, based on an IP address that should be camouflaged. Your local machine should not be able to see what is going on. Your local machine should not be able to resolve the connection which is there on your server. So these are some of the ZTNA functionalities which has been there, which ECOPS is having it. Sorry, I am not having the access to the demo server. I will try to. We can do a demo and show that. I think the access is there. Let me put it across. Sharing my screen again. Now, if you see here, I'm trying to log in. I'm logging through a client so that actually I can show you the fundamental ZTNA functionalities. So if you see here, it doesn't trust the username password. It is asking for an OTP. And so I'm logging in. I hope I can log in. The demo server is up. Yeah, the demo server is up. And if you see here, ECOPS provides local application access, remote application. Now, if you see my screen here on the left-hand side, there is a gap here, and the corporate applications have been made to be visible here. These applications are zero trust application on my local machine. They're not installed on my local machine. They're applications which are virtualized. And when I log out, everything will disappear. So if you see here, local applications to be used, we have a remote desktop or a TeamViewer-like application here so that I can take screenshots. I can remotely work on machines so that you don't have to trust the TeamViewer, files and folders, remote desktop, web applications, everything under a single window. Now, there is an application called CLA Access. You can see it here. Now, I'm going to open an application. I hope you're able to see the window through which I can log into CLA Access. So CLI Access is connected. I hope you're able to see it. Now, normally what happens is when you're doing a transaction, it is a single tunnel which has been there. Now here, if you see here, there is a separate tunnel for every application, and you can see that there is a tunnel created, packet one is sent, one is received. Now, this type of granularity is there so that we have zero trust on all the tunnel environments. There is no packet which has been sent or received without your permission. Now, there is something called CLI access. There is something called CLI access here. I got connected. Now, let me see what is CLI access. Now, I'm going to say NS lookup. It says unknown. Can you see this? There is something called CLI access here. It got connected, but when I say what is CLI access, it says unknown. This is zero trust. ECOPS was able to allow the end user to connect to CLI access and work, but ECOPS doesn't trust the local machine. That's why it did not pass the information of CLI access to the local machine. Now, this is zero trust. It is not trusting the local machine, because if there is a worm Trojan on the local machine, it can use this information and understand how to reach the CLI access or the data center. Now, if you see here, if I do ping CLI access, it tries to ping and there is no packet going through the tunnel here. What happens is the ping packet is not trusted. So normally it will go to the firewall and it will get dropped there. Whereas here, it is not even allowing it to go through the network. It is dropping on the computer itself. It is not even going through it. So this is zero trust on the CLI access to be reached, zero trust on the ping packet to be even exposed from the local machine. If I do trace route, you can see here, CLI access is very much reachable, but the CLI access, what computer it tries to reach is to a fictitious IP address, and that will never be reached. This is zero trust. That means you are able to access an application, but you're not allowing that application to be exposed to your local machine. Fine. So there are a lot of zero trust components. There are a lot of zero trust technologies which has been built in NetApps. These are some of it. In the interest of time, I may not be in a position to showcase everything. We can have a separate session showcasing all the zero trust technologies. Now I'm logging out of this machine. Now, if you see here, these icons are still visible, but in case I clear the cache, you can see these icons disappearing. And none of these applications will work when I'm not connected. This is dynamics. When I'm clicking on it, it will not connect. Fine. So none of these applications is accessible over the computer. Okay, there is some restriction on my machine. Okay, any other questions?
Mohan, other questions are answered from the Q&A. So if there is any questions apart from this, people can unmute and ask.
Okay.
Yes, since we have limitation on time, we can accommodate one more question. I think HP has a question. If it's possible, you can unmute and tell, or else you can type it on Q&A. By the way, the survey is live, so we have shared it on chat. Hope everyone can see the chat. Divya has shared it on the chat. So use the survey, please fill it out. There are a few questions which are related to COPS as well as certain other parameters, general knowledge as well. So we'll be having a lucky draw, and there'll be prizes. We'll get back to you on the prizes and the winners once you complete it. If you have any more questions, please raise it up. HP, is it still the question is up, or can you unmute yourself? Right. Hope everyone can see the chat. Hope everyone can access the survey. Right.
Any questions from anyone? Hope you like the session. Hope you like the technology. Hope you like the mechanisms in which the product has been built. Any feedbacks? We are more than welcome to hear it out from you. Any feedbacks on what you heard in the last 1 hour? We'll be very happy to hear from you.
It's good, Dano, because so I have been using same kind of products like this, but not that kind of authentication and mechanism that you are using for the secure the environment from the organization perspective. It is good. So and also I like to have that the authentication where you use token, right? Where you plug that to your laptop and it will boot automatically in your environment. That is very good one actually. So those
Very
who
much.
are working from the home, right? Sometimes we allowed bring your own devices, right? At that time, sometimes personal laptop also will be used in for organization needs. In that case, yes, you need to have a secure environment. If you have that kind of environment, it is very good actually. So I have a few requirements. Definitely, I'll contact eGuardian on this regard, so that we will get in touch for our requirement. Anup, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate you calling up and taking time out to appreciate the technology. See, ACOPS is a group of people who were very concerned about the cyber attacks, who are very concerned about the slowness, and we wanted to make something interesting. And we wanted to make something useful for organizations. That's why the last 15 years, we have been striving to actually imagine what can be the best solution and imagine what can interest, motivate, inspire the end users, and what can make the technology safe for administrators to work from anywhere. So any feedbacks from your side, customer side, is what created this product. See, for example, we have vendors, right? There's a great company which has a lot of vendors. They're not agreeing to install a client on their machine because they are afraid that is a client going to listen to all what the machine is going to do, because the vendor is working with multiple clients. So they were not very happy installing the client. So we give a browser-based technology where when he logs in, the machine gets secured, and when he logs out, the security is being released. So there is no installation on the machine. You can roll out 10 lakh users. So normally installing a client for 1,000 users, you need to have a team. You need to tell that you need to have admin rights, installing a client, upgrading the client, checking the client, everything is a problem. This is a browser-based technology. You just open the browser, login. It's very easy to roll out. So we tried all the best mechanisms to make the technology very seamless and interesting. This actually benefits organizations to grow. This actually benefits organizations to reduce their expenses. This benefits the organization to onboard people faster. This also benefits organization on their business access, right? So if we are going to be ignorant, not use technologies to grow the business, then we're not doing justice to the business, because tomorrow the business may not be there, right? So when we have an opportunity to make things better, we should try, test the technology and adopt it.
Yes, thank you very much, Mohan, for those valuable words. And I think since we have reached the time, and actually we have gone beyond the time, it's time for us to wind up. So let me formally thank you everyone who joined us today for this session on how to build a secure, sustainable workplace anywhere, anytime. So what we'll do is we have shared the survey. Please do fill in the survey, and there are some exciting gifts. We will select the winners and we'll get in touch with you with the gift, as well as we will get in touch with you all on the collaterals and the details on our product lineup, as well as other products, the COPS products, as well as other product lineups offered through eGuardian. So formally, let me close the session for the day, and hopefully we'll meet up again in future sessions, which we plan to do similar sessions. So thank you very much, Mohan. Thank you very much, Vinod. Thank you very much, everyone from COPS. And thank you very much, everyone from eGuardian, as well as thank you very much, everyone from CCC. Thank you very much, all our participants as well. Have a good day.
Thank you all the participants. We really value your time spent, and have a nice day.
Thank you all, and we'll make sure that the materials reaches you, over an email, right? So you'll be able to refer, and we'll be able to get back to you with the answers.